Hey guys, Pang here, and today I'm going to show you a few tricks, more like tips, especially for the Malaysian Xpower Rangers on tips to cut darts, because a lot of you have been complaining that you haven't been cutting very straight and blade is not sharp and this and that. So there are actually a few that have approached me. They mentioned that their performance is very bad, their darts are not accurate. So I just want to share with you guys how I actually cut my darts. So without further ado, as you can see in front of me, there are a few equipments, props or whatnot. Okay, from my left, you can see this is the Xplorer dart cutting fixture. Cuts 10 darts at once. Very cool tool to have. Then there's three kinds of blades. One is a thicker type, one's a thinner one, and the other is an X-Acto knife, which you can get from Daiso for 5 ringgit. And there's a vernier caliper, which is a normal version instead of the digital kind, which also you can get from Daiso for 5 ringgit. And as you can see here is contact adhesive. There's a VTech brand. You can also use Dunlop brand contact adhesive. Gets you high after a while. So always remember to do it in a well ventilated area, so your parents don't accuse you of sniffing glue and stuff. And if you can see here is super glue, which I have already removed the label. If you can find, usually the label will have a giant 502 written on it. That's the best compound that I have found so far, thanks to Heng. That works the best, but if you cannot find, other kind of compound will do. But as you can see, the consistency is quite watery, so a small drip of it will do. If you're gonna use hot glue, Yoo-hoo glue, all those, it will add weight, and the strength of it is not that strong compared to the combination of contact adhesive and super glue. And you can see here also I have a pair of forceps because I like to work very cleanly. And also I have a cutting board, ruler to measure out the length, blank foam rods or foam blanks, okay, and X-tip. Okay, so there are two ways of cutting darts. How I usually do it is I use the cutting fixture. So I just put in the darts. Alright, squeeze it in. Then what I do is I just cut through, and you basically get a very smooth surface. Alright, just gonna demonstrate some for you to see. Okay. By the way, this fixture cuts 10 darts at once. Okay, so just a little demonstration on how to use the fixture. Okay, some of the holes will be slightly tighter if you have a fixture. Okay, it'll be tighter, but some will be looser. It's not a problem. If you find that it's too tight, you just twist it in a little bit, but try not to force it in. Once you have those in, come in with a big blade. Alright, prefer this. Make sure it's a new blade, because if you're going to use a well-worn blade, you won't get the sharp edge. As you can see, if you don't get a straight edge blade, then you have a jagged cut. So just run through the line. Alright, safety first, then push it up, and there you go. Alright, see? And there you have a perfect cut. Foam blanks. Okay, what if you don't have a cutting fixture? No problem. Alright, just put this aside. If you don't have a cutting fixture, what I usually do before I got my fixture is I usually get the foam blanks. Okay, contact adhesive. Remember always to work on another surface instead of your base surface, because that will ruin your furniture and you really don't want that to happen. Okay, so we're gonna go to the gluing stages. You can see some are actually longer. That's normal for the foam blanks, especially the full length ones, and you're cutting the Stefans. It's normal to have a bit extra, and honestly I do keep some of them, actually most of them, after I cut them, and I find that they're very good as packaging foam. See that? I actually keep them. Okay, so now we're gonna glue the tips. Okay, start with the pre-cut foam blanks. Okay, now what I'm doing is how I'm cutting and gluing the darts. So it's one of many ways that you can actually do it. It's up to you. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it my way. Alright, what you do is you come in with a bit of contact adhesive. Okay, make sure you spread it evenly around the foam blank. Okay, evenly. So once you have that, screw the tip in. Screw it in, then leave it aside for it to dry for a while. Alright, so if you don't have a cutting fixture, you can manually cut. Okay, I'm just going to use this as an example. Same process. Grab the tip, just a little bit of contact adhesive, go around the rim. Okay, make sure that it's spread out evenly, then give it a good twist. Okay, the foam rods that you are given are longer before I cut it. Alright, and what I usually do is, instead of cutting them immediately, I like to glue both ends. Make sure both ends are glued together, and then after that, when it's dried, then I measure and I cut. So that way I feel that it's a faster process. And this again goes out to Heng for teaching me all the methods of cutting and gluing as well, all the process. So these are two. Okay, I'm just going to make one more. For contact adhesive, you can get it from any, especially Dunlop glue, you can get it from any hardware shop. If you're more fancy like that, you can go to Ace Hardware. I mean, it's easier to look for it, but any hardware shop will do. And so goes to the super glue, 502 super glue. You can find it anywhere in the hardware shop. They should sell about 2 ringgit to 2 ringgit 50 cents. And what I like to do is, okay, assuming you don't have a fixture, I like to dry them straight up. So any excess won't drip to the side, and that will actually be bad because the weight won't be evenly distributed. Okay, in the meantime, while waiting for the darts to dry out a little bit, okay, you can see there are 3 types of blades, okay, that I have here. Okay, some are pretty worn. I like to use a big blade because it gives a nice smooth straight cut, and the tendency to warp during cutting is less as compared to a tinier blade, and compared to an X-Acto blade as well. This one is good for crafting and also removing excess plastic pieces when you're crafting or when you're cutting your nerf stuff, any plastic materials. It's very easy to remove. So this one I don't think is very suitable to cut darts. This one is still okay, but it wouldn't give you that very straight cut. I still go with this one. It's big, it's easy to cut. Okay, I will demonstrate in a while. Okay, you leave your darts with the contact adhesive for about half an hour to 1 hour, but for this video's sake, I'm just gonna do it in advance so you guys can actually see it. Okay, what I have done beforehand is I stuck a ruler onto a cutting board. Okay, and we're gonna cut the dart. As you can see, this is very much too long for X clip or X Mac. Right, just to demonstrate that. I have here with me Xplorer 18.X Max. So if I were to put this in, it will be too long to fit. Even though if I just cut off a little bit, it will fit. Even though it will fit very nicely, but it will be too long and it may cause a jam. So we need to get the accurate length of between 33 mm to 35 mm. That would be the most precise dart length for Xplorer spec. Alright, just gonna glue one more. Remember, you only need a very thin layer of contact adhesive. It's just to create a surface for the glue to bond to the foam so that it closes up the pores, instead of if you use super glue directly, the super glue will seep into the foam and it will eat the foam, so that will damage the foam quite a bit. So in putting the contact adhesive, it creates a stronger surface for the super glue to bond onto the tip. And also, I forgot to mention in the beginning, these tips are machine molded, so there will be machine grease for sure, even though they've washed it a few times. Just to make sure, when you receive these tips, please go home and before you actually glue them, or you plan to glue them, take them, pour them out into a bowl or any kind of Tupperware that you can hold water in. Throw them in, put some soap water, any kind of soap, and put warm water, not boiling water, warm water. Then give it a few rolls so that you wash off the grease. Leave it for a few hours, but I like to leave it overnight. It's entirely up to you. So that would actually help the glue bond better, so the X tip stays to the foam very much longer. Okay, so now since these are somewhat cut and done, we fast forward a little bit. So what I usually do after I put contact adhesive on my darts, I like to peel them off. Alright, it should come off fairly easy. Okay, fairly easy. You can see that it's still kind of wet, but imagine if it's drier. That's the effect that we are looking for. So you can see that it's still kind of wet, but just for the video's sake, I'm gonna do this and show you guys. Alright, it's fairly easy to tear off. You can actually just leave it on, as in you can just use contact adhesive without super glue, but I personally think that with the super glue, your darts will actually last longer. Alright, even though they are lost, they fly very far, you cannot get them back, but the tips are still there, rest assured. This I wouldn't guarantee that it will stay on forever, but it depends on your gluing and cutting skills as well. Over time, if you practice a lot, then you're gonna get better at it, obviously. So alright, there's two pre-cut lengths, alright, from the fixtures, and this one is extra one. Alright, as you can see, the length is different, so we're gonna cut that later. So now we're gonna get our super glue, just a small dab. It's too much. Alright, that's too much. If you feel that you put too much, just dab out the excess. Okay, you can wipe it off later. Do it now. Okay, wipe it off. Okay. Since super glue needs two surfaces to bond together, on its own it won't bond that fast, so don't worry about it. So once you have a small dab of glue, I will demonstrate in the next step. Get your foam in one motion. What you're gonna do is you're gonna twist the foam in. Okay. Twist it in. Alright, this one is a bit rough, so but you get the idea. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Just a small dab will do. Alright, so around the foam, twist it in, so that will bond instantly. And as last time, I'll just let it sit straight. Okay, and this one as well. Give it a swirl, twist it in. Okay, there we go. Okay, and careful, super glue is fairly fast when it comes to bonding skin, so you want to avoid over putting super glue onto your tips and whatnot. And also, if you put too much, even though you get to bond it, when they start to crystallize, they'll actually create very hard and very hard surfaces that will scratch your barrel, and that will hurt the internal of your barrel, and as also perhaps slow down the dart speed. Super glue dries very fast, so I like to keep it in the fridge because I don't have a stopper, right? So once you have those, okay, this one is bad. Once you have those, right, I'm just gonna peel it off to show you. See, it's quite hard to pull out. So this one is done, and this one, alright, just gonna flip it over. Okay, a lot of people actually ask me, how long should the foam blank be when I want to cut my Stefans? So I don't tell them the foam length, because ain't nobody got time for measuring foam blanks. So I still follow Hing's instruction before I got the fixture of sticking the tip. Okay, this is his method. Sticking both sides of the tip to both sides of the foam. Alright, when it's cured, okay, just put it down from the tip. Alright, I'm just going to use this example. From the tip to the base of the foam, it should be about 33 to 35 mm. So you can see there. Alright, this one is slightly longer, but it's no problem. Okay, so if you don't have a fixture, you can just do it manually. Okay, I like to open it. Okay, so just gonna agak 3.5, right, 3.5 mark, and blade straight. Remember, blade straight. Alright, slice it down in one motion. Okay, this is not a very straight cut, but it's the straightest I can go. Remember, straight cut down like that. Avoid sawing your blade. Alright, avoid sawing, because if you saw and if your blade is not sharp, you will get a very uneven surface. So the jagged surface actually creates drag, and it will hurt your performance. So, right, that was one way. Straight flush, straight cut. One more time. Okay, straight cut. So this is with a big blade. If you actually use a small blade, you can achieve the same result, but what you'll get is, because your blade is flimsy, okay, my blade is not sharp, so you can actually feel that there was a little friction on the foam. So you see, this is not a clean cut. So okay, if I tear it off, you can see that there's actually some stuff here, so that will actually hurt your Rangers. See that? So small blade, not that ideal. I still like to use a big blade. So that's pretty much how I cut my darts. And yeah, like, once again, contact adhesive, then super glue. Alright, if you want to recap, just scroll back to the beginning or somewhere in the middle and look through again. These are the tools that I actually use. It's not necessarily that you get all of them to make your dart cutting experience better, or to get the exact same cut all the time. Just improvise. Use what you have at home. A good ruler, right? Sharp blade, glues, right? Cutting board. Make sure your surface is clean and dry, and always make sure to do it properly instead of hesitating, because once you do that, your hands will get stuck with super glue, which you don't want that. Alright, so if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try to answer them as best as I could. Alright, just a reminder again, this is a video shot just for the Malaysian Xpower Rangers. I hope this video will help you guys a lot, and yeah, let me know if you have any more help or questions. Thank you.